Yes, we are.
We are live.
Yes. So, what have you been up to today?
Quite a lot, Paul Bertie. Thank you.
Anything you can talk about?
Yeah, I've had some coaching. I've had some training, personal training, coaching work. Did my own training, and I've cooked. I've done my meditations. I've done my incantations. I've done my writing. I've done my reading. So yeah, done a lot today. It's been a productive day.
Fantastic. Well, to everyone, we just had that because we came on a little bit early. So, my name's Paul Bursey, and I'm from the UK. And welcome to SuccessCafe.tv. My
and I am Warren Connolly, and I'm from South Africa, but living in Hungary. And welcome to SuccessCafe.tv.
Yeah, absolutely. So today's subject is how to stay on track, which we'll get to in a minute. And just like to say hello to everyone on Facebook Live. That's the ones that are actually live and the ones that go to the replay. And the same goes for all our podcast channels and YouTube. So, welcome to everyone. It's been an interesting week. So, but this is how to stay on track. So, what would be your opening words on how to stay on track?
Stay on track.
Now, don't forget, don't cover everything I'm going to say.
That's why I never pre-think it. I never
no,
pre-think what the word's going to be, because I just want to, whatever comes out, comes out. Otherwise, if I'm thinking about it, then I'm probably going to cover everything that you want to say.
Yeah, so we haven't scripted this at all. It's just as it comes.
Not in this circumstance, no.
As it comes.
As it comes. So how to stay on track? Well, speaking of which, let's stay on track. Let's not divert too much now. But it's being present in the moment for me. That's, I think, whenever I can remain present and in that moment and not allow myself to be distracted by other things, the glittering, sparkly stuff that is around us all the time, then I know I'm staying on track, and that's a good thing. Mm-hmm. So it's not, for me, it's not particularly difficult, but it's a journey getting to that point where you can be at that, when you just know, it's good.
There's a lot of things that make up or help towards staying on track, and I think that it's very important that everyone gets a bit of paper now and writes on this bit of paper one word, and that is simple. Keep everything extremely simple. Otherwise, you'll have a blowout, because there are so many things you can think about, so many things you have to do in theory. And I never had any of this problem when I was an athlete. You set a goal and you went for it, and it was as simple as that. Okay. Now, yeah. So in this complex world, and it's complex because we make it complex, you need to cut things down. All right. So narrow the focus on a few things. So when you're talking about how to stay on track, it's about your feelings. Okay. It's about your emotions. It's about the few things that are important, and things like your wants and desires, because they control a lot of what you do. Okay. If you're the type of person that says yes to everything when someone phones up and asks you to do something, you will not succeed to a high level. So you've got to learn to say 99% or 95% no to most things. Okay. So that would be a starting point for me. Can you think of anything else that you would like to say early on, Warren?
I would like to just touch on one thing that you pinpointed, was emotions, and you keep doing this from time through the months, Paul. I don't know whether it's because now you have a copy for yourself, but you keep going back to subject in the book. And emotions, definitely. I did not get paid, folks, for doing that, holding that book up there. But
you better let the people on the podcast know what you just held up.
Yes, of course. I showed everybody the Ogmandino's The Greatest Salesman in the World cover.
I'm currently reading as well. So,
and in the chapter that I'm reading it 3 times I'm not really reading 3 times a day, as disciplined and as on track as I could be in this action, but every day I'm reading about emotions and being able to control your emotions. Now, you mentioned it, and that is so key to being able to stay on track, is being able to control your emotions. And there's even a line in there in that chapter about the strength of a man is his ability to take action in order to control his emotions, as opposed to allowing his emotions to control his actions. Okay, and this is very key in terms of being able to stay on track.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, look, emotions are a funny thing anyway, and let's assume that everything being equal, your emotions are pretty okay. Okay. Now, to give you a clue how people react differently, being an ex-police officer, I used to be in riot situations quite a few times, holding a shield, having petrol bombs thrown at me. Not me personally; they didn't know it was me. I didn't take it personally.
You don't know, really, do you?
Well, no, they may now. Now I'm doing Facebook Lives. They may do it now. But,
I remember that geezer.
Anyway, so what I'm saying is, what would your emotions be like if you were standing behind a shield and a group of people were throwing petrol bombs at you? I can only tell you what mine were, and it was, this is fun. Seriously, I thought it was great.
Yeah.
But there's other people would get all worried and think they were going to get burnt and things like that, and I get it. Look, I get it either way. So your emotions are your emotions. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
And your desires, your wants, and how you react to things. So you've got to know who you are.
Even in your case, Paul, I mean, somebody that's feeling the same way that you did, you say that was fun. They can lose the control of that emotion, and become reckless as a result of that, and put other people's lives, their colleagues' lives, at risk because of that. Because now they get carried away, they get taken away in the moment. Even then, it doesn't have to be for negative reasons. It can also be for that what you feel is a positive thing. I'm loving this. But you can become reckless and then put other people's lives at risk because of that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
you need to keep check on that emotion.
Okay, so really, the number one thing I would say about how to stay on track is how you must organise every aspect, every piece of what you're doing. So if you're, you would know this, being a coach, a personal trainer, that you've already got it mapped out in your brain exactly what you're going to do with that client. Would that be right?
True.
Yeah.
True.
And when I've trained people, it's exactly what I do, and because it's reasonably simple, all right, you don't necessarily have to write it down, because you know in your mind exactly what you're going to be doing. So that's cool. But I think if you're running a business, it's a different ball game, right? Depending on what type of business it is. But you've got to be organised. So whatever that means for you in a business or in a project, you have to have everything at your fingertips. You have to know where everything is. You can't afford to be scattered. You can't afford to be untidy.
Lackadaisical,
absolutely. It's like if you're training for the marathon, you hear it all the time. Get your kit ready the night before and leave it next to the bed. So when you get up in the morning, you just slip your stuff on. Don't matter if you go straight out or not. So you're ready to go. But the biggest thing, and how to stay on track, is obviously don't snooze. Now, I read something earlier today that said, oh, it's all right to snooze once. I went, no, it's not. No. No, you get up. If you got the alarm for 5, you get up at 5, bang on, do the old Mel Robbins thing, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, bang, and you're up. That gives you that's a bit of a gap, isn't it? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, but that's the only gap you're going to get from me anyway. So, but it's important because how you start the day affects your whole day.
It's how you continue your day. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but the first bit is that getting up in the morning. So to stay on track, I would say sort out a time that you get up every day, right? Go to bed at the same time every night. That way you'll get a great night's sleep.
It's not easy. And I mean, it's not easy. It's a challenge. But look, in life, the things, there's the old adage, like, everything that's worthwhile is, takes pain and whatever else and stuff like that. No, I don't believe that entirely to be true. But in the same time, very often, the things that we really need to learn are the most challenging because they are more beneficial to us in the long run, But the challenge doesn't have to be a sacrifice. And unfortunately, I think many people, they equate this to making sacrifices. And this is where I think people will also fall off that bandwagon because they're thinking that this is a sacrifice and I'm not prepared to make a sacrifice. No, you're not making sacrifices. You're actually enhancing your life. You're adding more value to your life than anything else.
Yeah, the only time you're allowed to fall off the bandwagon is if the Native American gets a 0 with an arrow. But no, I mean, look. The bottom line is it depends on the quality of what you want to achieve.
Uh-huh.
If you're happy with maybe half a job done or something, minor, then that's fantastic. That's you. We're all different. Not everybody's ambitious. Not everybody wants to have a successful business or a successful running career, or football, or whatever it may be.
And not everybody wants to focus on whether they're staying on track or not as well.
No, that's right.
Yeah.
But hopefully they won't listen to it.
And if they are, then it's something that they can consider for themselves.
Absolutely, yeah. So, but the other thing you're going to have some kind of system in place, whatever that is, and it will obviously depend on what you're doing. So, your system could be that you're up at 5. You know you're going to have for breakfast. You're up straight away. You got your running gear on. You're going to be meeting the coach at the running track at a specific time. Your system, the coach becomes your system.
Yeah. And this is where I come in. I fall into it like you do as a running coach as well. We fall into that we become the system because it's not because we've lived the system, but because we understand the system. Or we do have lived, but we haven't lived the other person's journey. But we understand what it takes to be able to keep on track and keep moving forward and be the best version of yourself every day, if it's possible.
Absolutely.
If it's possible. And that does sound nice because it is cool. It's a nice way to aspire to be, and that is that person is living the best version of themselves each and every single day. Do we ever achieve that?
Maybe only the individual can say, really.
But it's how do we feel about that day? How do we feel about ourselves in the moment? And back to what I was saying earlier on about being distracted by the shiny, sparkly things. When you wanting to stay on track in anything in life, it's how do you feel in that moment? How do you feel like now doing this podcast? Okay, you and I, we do this podcast. This is a peak time for me, potentially business-wise, for coaching or training and stuff like that. But I'd far rather be doing this podcast with you, okay, because I understand the reach that we potentially have with us through this podcast to other people. All right, financially or not, that's irrelevant because I feel good about it. And this is the key. Another key is, back to emotions. How do you feel? That's the way I see it. Is if your body feels like really comfortable and you're not breathing short, or you're not feeling heavy in your shoulders, your chest, but your body just feels comfortable when you wanting to take action on something, or you are taking action on something, you're creating a system for yourself. I've been having this struggle for myself professionally for some time now with consistency on social media. Okay, it's been a challenge for me, and I haven't felt good about it. I haven't felt good about what I've been trying to do in the past. But I may have found a solution to my challenge I trust I found the solution to my challenge, but already I feel good about looking into that solution because for some reason it just seems to resonate with me. And that I know if it does, it's going to help me stay on track even better than what I do right now. So it's how do I feel about it in that moment? Does it feel good for me or not? If it doesn't feel good for me, then perhaps I need to take a more of a critical look at it and then decide, or otherwise just exclude it altogether, because there's no point otherwise.
Yeah, I mean, look, the question to ask is, especially in a lot of the things that we deal with, is do you want to perform at the highest level possible? Now, if you do, this is where the desire and the want come in, because you're going to set a goal, right? Now, goal setting's a completely different subject on its own, but let's say that you want to run a marathon in, let's say, 3 hours, 20 minutes, which is quite a decent time. Okay. So, and you say, I'm going to give myself X amount of time. In my case, it was 2 years, but whatever it is for you. Okay. Because you know from your level of fitness, and then you work backwards from the outcome. So if it's April 2023 is the marathon. Okay. You work backwards and you work out the plan, what you're going to be doing. Now you can review it, tweak it, whatever, but set yourself a goal, and plan it. Okay. And that is the thing that will keep you going. So you refer to it 2-3 times a day. So that's one of the, if you want to stay on track, have your goal in front of you so that you know exactly what it is.
It stays in the forefront of your mind.
Yeah, I was lucky. I mean, I didn't put anything in front of me. I didn't have anything. I didn't put a sign up saying I'm going to do another marathon and all that, but what I said, but it was embedded here.
Yeah.
So some people can do that, some people can't. But it was embedded here, and I never lost sight of the fact, ever.
Some things you can, and many people will, and throughout their life, they will experience the same. It's almost like the moment of satori, right? I think it's called satori, when you're in that flow, in that zone. There are no distractions, no possibilities for distractions, because you just everything around you is working for you. And this is something that you also mentioned just now, a moment ago, is about knowing yourself. And if you know yourself, if you know your fitness levels, so in other words, if you're going to run for a marathon, like you said, you will know you should know how long it's going to take you to get to that point where you can run a marathon. Okay, because you should know yourself. This is another factor, is if you can know yourself, the more you know who you are, the easier it is for you to not be distracted by other people's opinions. All right, and their other interjections that are coming from outside everywhere, whether it's intentional or not, but they are. And if you don't know who you really are, or have an idea, an inkling as to who you are, it's so much easier to be swayed and persuaded into other things and other ways and other avenues and paths and whatnot. And my life history is indicative of that. I've done so many different things in my life because I was searching for myself without even realizing it. I just thought I was having the time of my life in my 20s and 30s. All right, traveling around the world, living in different countries, but it was something that I was looking for myself to learn to understand who I am truly. And then when I started to realize that, then it helped me stay on track a lot easier because I wasn't distracted and swayed by so many distractions and persuasions and everything else that come with life in general.
Yeah, I can do that. So, I mean, look, at the end of the day, remember that you need to have everything to hand, as I mentioned earlier. So you need to, literally, if it's a physical thing, you need to be in a position to go, I know where it is, and go and get it. The closer, the better, right? You don't want to be using any of your willpower and different things like that, which are in short supply. You need to be, and this is what goes back to being organised. You don't want to be wasting any time. The other thing you can do, which I would recommend absolutely, definitely if you're running to a marathon timetable or you're a business person, is calendarize. I think that's the word, is it? Calendarize everything. Diarise, put it in the diary, put it in the calendar, and I mean, I never thought too much about a calendar before now, but the busier I'm getting now, the calendar and being able to put appointments in the calendar now are becoming more and more important because my time is, there you go.
You know how many people do not use this?
Yeah.
It's right there. It's in your hands every day.
Yeah.
But they don't use this.
You can write it on a bit of paper if you want. I would say it's a bit of a waste of time, but that's a far more efficient way of doing it. If you've got stuff to do every day, so the calendar, it becomes, you need to improve your scheduling system or whatever the system that you use. So, and make sure any tools that you want are easy to find, especially if you're doing them online. Make sure that your fingertips, like everything else. With the computer and that, clear it up, make it simple. All right. However you can do that, whether it's clearing up the front page, going to your emails, clearing, keep what you want, but clear out vast amounts of it. Okay. Very, very important. If you're in business or some kind of thing that needs money and you've got to track money, okay, then you will need some kind of something for the tax man. And there's plenty of things online. I mean, there's things like Xero, QuickBooks. There's other bits and pieces on there. And keep a track. So when you start, let's say you're going to start a new business on the 1st of April, which is tomorrow. Okay. So keep track. Do it and set aside just a couple of minutes. All you need each day just to note what you've bought, what you paid out for, what's coming out, So just keep on top of your finances, because finances, believe it or not, can cause you all sorts of headaches. All right, if you don't get it right and do it right at the start.
I've got a pretty nifty tool as well, which is, again, you can find so many apps on your phone. This helps me to keep my expenses and my incomes on one app, and it shows me my balances, my transactions history, and all this kind of stuff as well. So again, it's so simple.
It's things like, you're right. It's things like online banking. I know people that refuse to go on online banking. It's the best thing since sliced bread. I was one of these people, the last one to get involved in computers. When I got involved, I went, "This is good, isn't it?" And it is with online banking. It's one of the best things.
I don't know when's the last time I've been to an ATM. I mean, I use cash.
I very rarely, very, very rarely. And it's a better way of saving money as well, because if you've got to buy something for £4, you get a tenner out of the cash point. That's another £6 gone. Because you will spend it.
Yeah, of course.
You could call it being stingy. I call it being sensible, but there you go. So we've all got a vision. This is, going back to staying on track. We've all got a vision. Not going to go into it. We've all got our values about being honest and being integrity and all that. Okay, but it's the outcome. The outcome is the thing that will drive you, right, to be successful at whatever it is you're doing. Okay, that's how you stay on track, to push towards the outcome. So you may need to have that outcome stuck on a mirror in your house. You've got to know what the goal is. You've got to know what you're aiming for, so that you don't forget. So easy to go off for you come and you get up in the morning. Oh, I'm gonna have a cup of tea. Okay, yeah, turn on Facebook. Oh, well, that's good. Oh yeah, there's Duckle Jim, and so on. And then you go, oh, blimey, because look, there's 10 videos waiting up here. You can go and watch the video. Before you know it, it's like 10:30, 11 o'clock in the morning, and you haven't achieved anything. I've done it loads of times. So now I even get up an hour early so I can do all that stuff sometimes, But no, I'm pretty good at it now. But very, very important. And the other thing you've got to think about when you're talking about staying on track are things like the telephone. So now when I go to bed, it goes on flight mode.
Good.
I've told everyone. I said, don't expect to get me during the night. You have to drive around and knock on my door. I live a long way away from them, so they won't do that. But no, I put it on flight mode. You know, because if you get ruined sleep, it has a knock-on effect all the time. You know, so you got to think about distractions, think about being woken up, think about interruptions, think about disturbances, and the last thing, which a lot of people don't take into account, is drama.
Oh yeah.
Drama and toxic relationships go hand in hand, and they will ruin your life, your business, and everything if you allow it. There's a time to deal with things, and it's not during the day. It's at the end of the day. Well, I'm saying, like once you've done all your stuff, then go and deal with something. But they'll have to wait. Unless it's so important, you've got to go and do it. I mean, there's loads of stuff you would have to go straight away. But
naturally, of course.
Yeah, but most things, they can wait. Okay. And
also in saying that, just to add and reiterate about the staying away from the drama and all of that stuff and the toxic relationships.
Yeah.
It does sway you as well. It can so easily sway you from staying on track. And sometimes we just have to be brave enough, tough enough on ourselves, okay, to do that. And sometimes it's just necessary.
Yeah, that's the time to be tough. But what you don't take the toughness so far that you slaughter yourself mentally if you get something wrong. You say, look, I've learned from that. Move on. I won't do that again. Okay, that's the way to deal with it. Let it go straight away. Don't even think about it. You made a mistake, so what? Get on with it. And I think that's extremely important.
I'm working with a teenager from here. Okay, and he was preparing for an English exam when we first started working together, and he failed the first time. Now this kid doesn't usually fail. Okay, he's good at pretty much everything he does. So he failed the first test, and then we tried to prepare for the second one. He failed that one again, and we were both really surprised. And then the third time now, he just phoned me today to tell me that he got the results and he's passed, third time lucky. And I asked him, I said, what does it feel like losing for the first time? He doesn't normally lose. And he just laughed. And I said, well, what does it feel like actually having achieved it now? He says, no, it feels really good. So it's, this is the other thing. And again, it's emotions. He's left it behind. He's mature enough, even as a teenager, to just say, okay, it's done. I've experienced it now. I don't like the experience, and I'm going to do what I can in order to not experience that again. And he did the second time, and he took it on his chin, and third time lucky. Yeah, there's a lesson from a teenager for you.
Yeah, you can learn. As you say, you can learn from anyone. It's absolutely. But things like if you're in business or things, make sure your workstation's tidy and go paperless if you can. You would not believe some of the workstations and environments I've worked in, and I love tidiness, but I've worked in when it's everywhere. It's like, and it doesn't, because you end up looking. It's like a distraction in itself. You're looking at all the what's this. Look, there's only a few things you need. I mean, you'll know what they are for whatever it is you're doing. But for me, I've got a laptop, I've got a mouse pad, a mouse, a pen, a cup that should be something in it, a few notes here, and my phone, which I've turned off. That's it. You don't need very much.
Almost the same.
And I think that's to keep on track. That's very, very important that you pay attention to this stuff.
Yeah.
Things like, do you need that printer that's there? Right? Because you can keep everything on cloud, right? And use a CAM scanner, which is a scanner you can use on your mobile phone. Scan everything and send it to the cloud.
Wonder why they call this a smartphone.
Well, yeah, a million and one uses, isn't it? There's things on there that you can use to time things, give you warnings, cut out things like Facebook and things like that. You've got apps on there that will cut all that out during a certain amount of time.
So you can just go to settings and do that yourself in the settings. Yeah. I think in most phones.
But going back to the paper, I used to keep all my ideas and look. Oh, just thought of something. Hang on a minute. Write down a bit of paper, back an envelope, tear envelope in half. All this. You have stacks of things. So I would suggest getting
a secretary, get a PA.
Evernote or something like that, where it's a free account. You just go on, you can make notes. Right, done that. Okay, that's stored away. You may never go back to it, but you may. Right, but it's just gone.
We were talking about this today, weren't we? Early on.
Yeah.
Go to if you got a Samsung, just check your voice recorder on your phone, okay? And just go to your voice recorder and have a look on your phone.
Well, we've got the same similar type phone, haven't we? Samsung.
Yeah. Okay.
So on there, they've got a recorder, haven't they?
Yeah, speech to text. So you got standard, you got speech to text. So you can talk in speech to text on your phone. You don't even need an app for that. It's there. I don't know, it depends on your phone, I guess. But yeah. Otherwise, there will be apps for that, most definitely.
Organize your passwords online, all in one place. Now, and a lot of these computers now, they do it automatically. Just click the button when it says, and even down to the cables coming off all your electrical. Make sure they're all together. They're not dragging everywhere, and it's just bedlam. Get help when required. Another big one as well. Look, I got told this a long time ago. I don't very rarely introduce it into my business, but they are 100% right. Is that if you look at the job that needs doing, here's a classic example: cutting the lawn. If it costs you, let's say you price yourself at $50 an hour. If it costs an hour, let's say it takes an hour to cut the lawn with rests and things like that, like I do. But that's $50 down the drain. It's better to pay someone $10 or £10 or whatever it is to do it. Now, depending on your situation, because obviously everyone's in a different situation. I get it. But it's one of the things you could work towards even. It could be a first little goal or reward. You know what? I'm going to do this. And when I reach that, I'm going to get someone to cut the lawn so that I don't have to do it. Simple things. Get help. Always ask for help. Daily, again, know exactly what you need to do to hit that goal for that day. Right? It might be just a training session. It may be that you have to do 3 things. 1, 2, 3. One of them being the priority. 2 of them are supporting. Okay? Make sure you do the priority first, do second and third. Once you're done there, the day is yours. You could then do some more if you want, but at least you've done what you set out to do. So keeping on track is very, very about you controlling your day right from the word go. What do you reckon on accountability?
Well, I'm quite big on accountability as well. So it's definitely just taking 100% responsibility for everything that happens in your life. Easier said than done.
We were talking about accountability partners earlier, weren't we?
Yes, we were.
And we worked out, we both knew really, but that we are poor accountability partners.
Yeah.
The reason, but it's not that we can't do it. It's not that we can't do it. It's the fact that we work together a lot. So it really should have someone you're not working with all the time. So it can give you a slap when you do something wrong. Mental slap, not a real slap.
A real slap is better than a mental slap, but I get.
Yeah, we know that, but we'll keep it non-violent. So yeah, it's very, very important. Accountability is so important, and it's not, as I've said before, it's not a naughty boys corner. All right, it's there to help. It's there to keep you on track.
No one's to blame. No one's to blame for anything at the end of the day. Things happen for a reason, and sometimes you just need to figure out what that reason is and why that person did this thing. It's whether it be you or somebody else. But at the end of the day, whatever happens in your life, if you're beyond puberty, I would say, if you're beyond being a teenager, if you're an adult, you got to come to realize and get comfortable with the fact that if you want to be successful in your life, you have to start taking 100% accountability for it.
Yeah.
Once you have that power.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, you've got to review your day. You know, make note for a few seconds, just what you did and how well you did. Plan the next day. Again, it doesn't take very long at all, but make sure you do it. You know, so you're offloading all your thoughts. Do the old mind dump on paper, and it's another thing that will help you because you'll sleep better, and you'll wake up with a less foggy head in the morning.
Yeah,
to start again. You know, so but scheduling and also organising your time are very, very important. You can use something like Toggl, spelled Toggl, okay, which is free. There are paid things for it as well. If you're on your own and you want to organise yourself, that's one thing you can use. I'm actually going to use it, and I'll report back on it. But you know that you've got to do what's required. There are no excuses at the end of the day, but that is really between you and your accountability partner, or you and the mirror. So very, very important. And you know, it's all about staying on track. You know, and I never had a coach when I was running. I did it all myself. Well, I did have a coach in a way because I was using a book, so it became a written coach. Yeah, and I did exactly what they told me to do. All right. So you can do it on your own. I would suggest maybe not doing it on your own. You have a bit more human interaction.
Yeah, it is something like wanting to stay on track or being able to stay on track is so much more rewarding and fruitful when you're dealing with somebody else. Yeah. You have somebody else that's your accountability partner or whatever you want to call it. If you like the word accountability and you want to use something softer, then go for it. Find your own expression, but find somebody that you can communicate with and share your goals with, your vision, whatever that looks like, and have them hold you responsible for your life or for your actions. I've had that before in my life. I've had that before, and it's very beneficial. Yeah, so this is why we were talking about it earlier today, because it's something I'm looking for again.
Yeah, absolutely. So with that, I mean, all I would say is the only thing I see that's missing is personal development, and you've got to fit that during your day. But you could even organise that really the day before, so you know exactly what you're going to be doing and how long you're going to be doing it. We all need to learn and grow constantly. So, and that's basically how you stay on track. I mean, it's it is quite simple, but it's not easy. Because what we haven't mentioned are the outside factors. That's why I spoke about distraction, interruptions, telephone, family, all those types of things. So you've got to take that into consideration. Tell people when you're working. So I'm not to be disturbed between 9 and 12 or whatever the time is, under any circumstances other than someone who's had a serious accident, God forbid, and or something like that. Okay.
An emergency.
A real emergency.
Yeah. An emergency is an emergency.
Not that you can't find the kitchen scissors.
But not when the dog disappeared. They can't find the kitchen scissors.
or one of my kids going, Dad, can you lend me a £5? No. So anyway.
Sorry, it's not after 12 o'clock yet. Come back after 12.
Right, we're done, I think. Are we done with this?
Look, I would like to say this quickly, just add one little thing. If after listening to this call with Paul and I having this chat and this discussion now, and you're thinking to yourself, you're talking about me doing all of this potentially, or adding even these little things into my life potentially. Hi, Patsy. Thanks for the hi. But where am I supposed to get the time from? All right. Now we all have 24 hours, if I'm not mistaken. So in saying that, if you'd like to figure out how you can compartmentalize your time and see just exactly where your time is being allocated in your life today and how much extra time you will have, okay, on a weekly basis, then reach out to me, because I have a little exercise that I can do with you and show you. And you can see how many hours you can potentially have available to yourself for personal development, for doing all of the stuff that Paul and I were talking about now, and how you can then structure that time that you have available to yourself now that can be used for more productive things, okay? Hence, influencing yourself and developing and growing yourself as an individual and as a professional, whatever that that looks like. Then reach out to me, yeah, and let's have a quick chat.
Absolutely, yeah. So
with
that, we're going to end the broadcast. Unless you got anything else you want to say, Warren?
No, thank you.
Okay, because we got
one other thing quickly. Just one other thing. Sorry, Paul.
Yeah, that's
and I need to go as well because I have a call at the top of the hour. Enjoy the journey. All right. So often when we are trying to stay on course, on track, and we're focusing on being focused, we forget to enjoy the journey, and we focus so much on that destination. Yes, it's a great thing to have a vision board or your goals written down every day and see this every day, 3 times a day, 4 times a day, 5 times a day, whatever that looks like, whatever suits you, whatever you're able to do, okay? But don't lose sight of the fact that you are experiencing life, and by enjoying that and be grateful for everything that you experience, staying on track becomes so much easier and enjoyable. It really does. Because again, it goes back to being able to control your emotions. How do you feel in the moment? How are you feeling when you're doing whatever it is that you're doing? And that allows you to have gratitude for the journey that you're experiencing. And then staying on track just becomes so much easier.
Okay. So anyway, I've got to go and see the old witch. Just for our podcast, I've got a model of a witch, little. So
all right. Look,
I'm joking, by the way.
We need to go. So it's been lovely, folks. This has been a great conversation. We look forward to seeing you next week.
See you all later. Cheers. Have a great day.